The sun had just started to brighten the sky as we trundled across the tarmac to our little planes that would take our group to see the famous domes of the Bungle. We had been weighed and measured in the terminal so that the planes would be balanced correctly. It's a good job that none of us had eaten a large breakfast. We were to fly from Kununurra over the famous national park known as Purnululu as far south as the domes, 296 kilometres away, do a loop around the unusual formations before flying back again. As we fly over the changing forms of the Bungle range below, I will tell you a little of what I found out about the most famous section of it. The pastoralists in the area had known about the Bungle since moving to the Kimberley, but they had other things to worry about in this harsh country. And it was only when, in 1983, a national television documentary crew turned its cameras onto the unusual orange-striped domes did people take notice. Although clearly visible from the air, there were no roads or trails to the domes. It took the pioneering ingenuity of an East Kimberley family man, a spotter plane, sacks of flour, lots of patience, and a four-wheel drive vehicle to find a reasonable and safe entry into the wonders of the Bungle range. The spotter plane flew low, carried sacks of flour, which were thrown out from the aircraft to mark the most accessible route into the Bungles. The four-wheel drive vehicle followed the white, dusty flour trail through the brilliant red earth and found a way into this most splendid natural creation. The present access road to the beehives is unsealed and is only suitable for four-wheel drive vehicles. It's only 55 kilometres long, but it takes a good 3 hours to travel in reasonable conditions. The beehive area is so named because of its dome-like formations. It is rich in archaeological sites, indicating intensive Aboriginal use over thousands of years. The rock art sites recorded in the beehive area are extremely fragile and generally in a very poor state of preservation, due primarily to the fragile nature of the sandstone in this area. The unusual orange and dark grey banding on the rounded rock formations rise 300 metres out of the arid landscape. According to Aboriginal Dreamtime legends, the amazing beehive-like domes that form the Bungle ranges were created by the rainbow serpent as she slithered across the landscape. Aboriginal people have used the area for their sacred rituals for around 20,000 years. The dreaming is not a creation myth per se, but a myth of formation. The world existed but was featureless. Giant semi-human beings resembling plants or animals rose up from the plains where they had been slumbering for countless ages. These ancient heroes roamed the land aimlessly. As they wandered around, they carried out the tasks that the present Aborigines do today, including camping, making fires, digging for water, fighting each other, and performing ceremonies. When the heroes became tired of doing these things, Dreamtime came to an end. Wherever the creators had been active, some form of natural feature now marks the place. The creators made everything with which the Aborigines are in daily contact and from which they gain their living. The heroes also established laws that govern all aspects, both secular and sacred, of the tribes. In many parts of the Kimberley, cattle station life introduced Aboriginal people into areas that their descendants might never have gone into. This also meant the pastoral era had a profound impact on Aboriginal stories and memories of their more traditional cultural heritage and history. Whilst the present generations of Aborigines have never lived exclusively in the area by hunting and gathering, considerable mythological information has been passed on. Many of these descendants have begun to return to the Bungles to regain their strong cultural ties to the area. I must thank Lee Scott Virtue, an archaeologist and historian for his study of the Bungle Range. Most of my information is drawn from his studies.